Okay, so we are now in week 10, heading into assignment number 9. So today we're going to focus on a particular room in the design. And first of all, let me try to get rid of this object here. We're going to focus on the kitchen area. So let me close these old assignments here, and we'll look at this. This is assignment 9. So we're going to focus on the kitchen training area, which is there's a great deal of equipment that goes into that room, and we'll create some inch elevations of that room and create an island, and then we'll do some dimensioning. Dimensions is fairly basic. So if we take a look at here, this is a set of drawings I'm looking at. In particular, this is drawing number 3 on A601, which is an elevation. You can see that in the floor plan because if you look here in sheet 101, if you zero in on that kitchen area, you'll see here the elevation tags. This tag right here is pointing at this wall, black arrow. It's saying if you want to look at this wall, you look at drawing number 3 on A601. If you want to look at this countertop, look at drawing number 4 on A601. So these elevation tags are pointing at different walls, and they're meant to create elevations of those areas. So if you look at 3 A601, which we'll create today, it's this drawing right here. If you take a closer look at it, you can see here it's a series of equipment. There's a refrigerator here. This is some type of cooking device right here. A couple of trash cans, a couple of countertops. There's a cooktop here. There's a fryer here, and there's some other additional equipment here. So this is very, very, very detailed. There's also a hood, a metal hood right here, because this is used for cooking. So there's a lot going on. If you take a look at some of these sections, they show you how tall these countertops are. So for example, drawing number 2 on A802, it's cutting through this countertop right here. And it gives you an idea of how tall the countertop is off the floor, how deep that cabinet is. So 2 on A802 is here, up here at the top. 2 is right there. So here they say that the countertop itself, well, on the edge right here, it looks like it's 1.5 inches thick, although it's probably 3/4 of an inch thick, but they turned it down to make it look thicker. So the countertop, for our purposes, could be 1.5 inches thick, because that's what you'll see from the front. Then there's a cabinet right here. It's got a toe kick that's 4 inches off the floor. This is a little recess here, so you're not kicking the cabinets when you're standing in front of them. And then here it says refer to the elevation, which this should typically be 36 inches, probably. And the cabinet itself is typically 2'1" from this panel right here to the edge of that countertop is typically 2'1", and they built out a wall here, an extra wall to push it forward to make the cabinet deeper than normal. This is not a normal countertop. This is 36 inches deep. That's not a normal size. Normally it's 25 inches. So they made it 5 inches deeper. So they put a wall here. We don't have to build that wall. All we have to do is build a countertop and put a cabinet here. We'll leave this alone. We'll leave it empty. We'll leave a gap right there. So that's how it's going to be developed. If I go back to that elevation here, you'll see here they call out 3 foot, 36 inches. Right there says hold. The top of the countertop is 36 inches. So we know some information about this. You know, we know 36 inches tall, we know it's 30 inches deep. However, the cabinets themselves are not 30 inches deep, they're typically 25 inches deep. And then there's a wall here, a panel. It looks like here they're saying that it's plastic laminate. Actually, I'm sorry, that metal number one. It's a piece of laminate and it's covered in metal. Here, I guess they expect to be able to clean it pretty easily. It looks at the top of the countertop is also this metallic countertop material here. Top of this is metal, probably stainless steel. Top of this is metal. So this is like a frame that wraps around the refrigerator. And this is a soffit, gypboard soffit. And so we'll go about building this piece by piece. There's a lot going on here in terms of equipment and materials. These walls here are metal, but then over here, this is tile, for example, here. And then if you look at the remainder of the room, they've got it elevated here. Like, for example, this is the kitchen island. It's in the middle of the floor. And you can see here is just a bunch of cabinets. And it steps up to become a bar height. So it goes from 36 inches to 3'6" height. So again, you can see that in detail number 2 and 803, 5 and 4. These are all different cross sections through the cabinet. This is detail number 1 and 803. And 803 seems to have a lot of these details of how the cabinets are created here, for example. This is the island. The countertop is taller at the back. So on one side you sit, and the other side has all the cabinets. And so we'll build this in 3D as well, in the center of the room. This is getting into a lot of the little details. Since we basically worked on the rooms themselves and the walls and ceiling and fixtures, now we'll focus on some of the equipment that goes into these areas. So again, the island is right there where the sink is. You can see there's a little island right there with the sink in the center. Okay, so first of all, we need to have an inventory of all these products, and I went ahead and gave you a directory of all the materials, all the products that go into this project. So here in week 10, you'll have a families folder with all these items here. So I've gotten things like the coffee machine and the faucet and the range and hood TVs. They're all in the zip folder called Week 10 Families. I copied it into the L drive right here under our class 224 spring. Here's all the folders right here. Looks like I forgot the TV though. Let me make sure I grab that for you. But they're online as well. So this is the TV. I'll drop into there. So if you want to follow along in class, you can grab them from the week 10 folder, families. Okay, so let's get started. Let me go back to my folder. So I'll go back here. So let's take a tour of this room, make sure it's built correctly, make sure everyone's on the same page. So I'll zoom into this area here and make some perspectives. Take a look at this area right here and make sure we're all on the same page. So under here, we'll go make a camera and I'll just take a look at this room here. And there's the basics of the room. So there should be a ceiling above this back area, this back wall that's going to get all the equipment. And there's a soffit above it. And then there's an acoustical tile ceiling. So that's fairly fairly it. There's not much going on here. So this is the back wall here I'm talking about, which has a ceiling above it. So if I look at the ceiling, you see here, it's an acoustical tile ceiling here in the rest of the room. And then there's the soffit. I'm going to turn off my dimensions here for a second. Yeah, so there's a lights here. There's a ceiling. There's a doorway here. And then there's a soffit. So we'll focus on building up that wall. So any questions on this area before we get started? Pretty straightforward. This is all the stuff we've done already. So I will do this from the floor plan, and I'm going to turn off my, well, maybe not. Let me just turn these on. I will turn off my measurements here. Okay, so let's see what we need here. Again, if you look at this elevation on this drawing here, A101 should show us what we need to look at in terms of the elevations. So here, we're looking at 3 on A601. And so there's a bunch of product in here. The quickest one we can knock out, probably the fastest, would be the countertop. We can quickly build out the countertop and then circle back and do the refrigerator and start putting things underneath the countertop. But we should probably start with the countertop first before we start placing equipment in here. And so, here in the plan, I'm going to activate the floor plan. And there's the countertop right here. And these two lines here, these double lines here, I'm going to assume that's the frame, the panel that's wrapping around the refrigerator. So I'm gonna assume that right there is not the part of the countertop. And the countertop starts right here with this line here and goes all the way to the edge of this here. And so this is a custom model, and there's another one. There's another one over here, and it's kind of confusing, all the different information they have here. So let me just hide some of these layers. Just gonna do a query and hide some of the objects here. Some of these notes I don't need to see. So here, there's also a panel here in the corner, up against the wall there, right there. And then there's the panel that there seems to be a built-in piece here, which is the range that's over here somewhere. So let me take a look at this for a second. 3 on A601. We're going to be bouncing back and forth between these two drawings. So let's see, right about the countertop ends right around here somewhere. It's right there. It stops right here up against the microwave. And the countertop goes all the way over to the wall here. From here to this, and then right there's a vertical panel. See, it says 2 inches. That's a vertical panel sitting up against the wall. I'm going to assume it's 3 feet deep because that's how deep the countertops are. There's a vertical panel right there, and then right there is the countertop up against the microwave. So with those assumptions, we'll start building this. So we'll start here. So to build a countertop, you go to architecture and you go to component and you put model in place, right? Because that's where you can draw a rectangular countertop that is 1.5 inches thick, and you can make sure the top of it is 3 feet off the floor. So that's a very, very quick way. And then after we're done, later we come back and add materials to it. If it's going to be stainless steel, we can add that after the fact. But we want to make sure we draw these different panels, whether they're vertical panels or horizontal countertops. You want to go ahead and build those. So here I'll melt them out in place, and I'll call this all casework. And I'll simply just build a rectangle. I'll just draw it here, a rectangle. So this is the countertop. And then here, I'll just simply make sure it aligns to the right place. And here you can decide how tall you want it to be. Right now it's sitting on the floor, it's 15 feet tall. We know the top of this is going to end at 36 inches, and we know it's going to be 1.5 inches thick, so it's 2 foot 10.5 inches to the bottom, and it goes up to 3 feet, so that makes it 1.5 inches thick. And then here I can hit apply, and there's the 3D model. I could stop here, or I could keep building more pieces. I can go over here and start building this countertop as well. I mean, I'm here right now, so why not just keep working and build this countertop here? So I'll go back to create and make another one. I'll just simply draw another rectangle right here and right there, and I'll use the same measurements. And I accept that one. Now I got 2 countertops in the same model in place. I haven't left the model in place yet. I haven't finished the model. So these 2 are part of the same model. And while I'm working here, I can start building the vertical panels, these vertical panels here. I can simply make another extrusion and simply trace. Not sure how wide this draft is so odd here. I'll make it as deep as the countertop. Not sure why this drafting is so odd. And this will be from the floor all the way to the ceiling. And the ceiling is, what are they saying? Their soffit is here, it's at 8 feet. So this panel goes up to 8 feet. And there's another one right here. I'm going to accept that one. This one here. And I'll make another one. I'll keep working. I'll make another one here. I'll make a panel right here. Probably fastest to draw the rectangle. And I'll just simply align it to there. And align this one to the countertop. And it will go from 0 to 8 feet again. And there's one up against this wall here. So I'll draw another one. I'll accept that one. And I'll create another one here. And I'll simply make another one right there. There up against the wall. I'll make it line up with the countertop. And I'll accept it. And I believe I'm done. Well, there's a panel right here. Forgot that one. And I can always come back and make more if I need more, but I'll go back and create this last one here. There's some double lines here, but I think it's this one. Probably make a rectangle right there. And again, I'll make it as deep as the countertop. And can't quite tell what's going on here, but this is 2 inches deep. And it goes again from 0 to 8 feet. So if I accept, and let's say I've got all these pieces here. I got this piece here, this piece there, the countertop, this vertical piece, this countertop here, a vertical piece against the wall. If I just accept that, I can just take a peek and see what I've created. I'll start hiding things like electrical fixtures because I don't need to see them. They'll probably get in my way. And if I want to focus on, actually not electrical, but lighting fixtures. If I want to focus on this area here, I would probably just turn on the section box and hide everything except for this room. So here, I can turn all these on. Here's a section box, and I can just basically just focus on that room by itself. Simply hide everything else. So very quickly, you can basically, I'll have Revit just show you only what you need to see. And we're working back there. So that's what I built so far. You got this piece, these 2 pieces here. There's a countertop. There's a vertical panel there. There's a countertop here. There's a panel up against the wall. Let me go back to consistent colors. You see all the pieces I built? 8 feet tall. And it looks like this soffit might not be in the right place. It says it's, oh, I see what's happening. The ceiling's in here. The ceiling is here. There's a ceiling right there. So it comes up and stops at the bottom of that ceiling. That is a chip ornamental stud ceiling, has a certain thickness. This guy here. And that is where the walls stop. So pretty straightforward so far. Oh, you guys can all build that pretty quickly. I built them on, I mean, you could build these independently, one at a time, if you want to. I could build that one there and copy it and put it over here, and copy and put it over there, and copy it and put it over there. You can speed things up if you drew them independently. I just happen to draw them all together. But however you get here, you'll get to the same results at some point. And so, with that being said, we can always come back to this model and change it later, make some additions to it if we need to. And then I'll just simply start building out the cabinets that belong here. This is very similar to what we did last class. So here we see that there's 33 inches. All right, 13, 31 inches. 33 inches. Okay, 33, and we need a couple of 33-inch cabinets right here. And these are 18 inches. Whatever's left over here will be for this piece of equipment right here, number 13. So these here we can make fairly quickly. This comes right to the edge there. And we need a 33-inch double door cabinet. And so we know those can be located under the Autodesk insert load Autodesk family. We know they're under casework. And these are all different cabinets we can choose from. We can look at base cabinets, which are the ones that underneath the countertop. And the one that most looks like what we're doing is this one. 2 doors, no drawers, just 2 doors. So I will load that one. And also the one with the trash looks a lot like this one. So I'll take those 2 and load them. And then if you look under place a component, you'll see the library of all the products. That's where they all get loaded. And you just find the cabinet size you're after. And if you don't find the size, you just make one. Okay, so 2 33s and 2 18s. So here's this is a single. Here's 18. I'll drop this one here for a second, drop it off. That's the 18-inch wide single drawer cabinet. And then we need a model in place, a 33-inch double, the 33 right there. There. And when you put these in Revit, they'll go underneath the countertop, which is why they're showing dash. And you might want to make this view wireframe so you can see underneath the cabinet. But there it is. And I'll simply line it up with the edge of the countertop here and take this one and duplicate it. And then I'll grab this one and move it over. I'll do some alignment here with the move command. I'll just simply line these up. It looks like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I have this exact countertop of this range here. I mean, number of the range is as big as the cabinet. They don't tell us much here. They say C equipment spec. And so I downloaded one of those. So let's see what it looks like. We're gonna place one of my components into the drawing. So here when we go insert, and you got your own family, you won't use the Autodesk family. You use this one. That's your family, not Autodesk family. So I'll go into Autodesk load family. I'll go into my folder, and I'll track down one of the files I've given you. So I'll go into Week10 support folder families, and I will look for the cooktop. So I believe it's let's see here, I think it's this one here. Yeah, I use this Kenmore cooktop. So I'll load that one there, and I'll go back into here and load a component, and I'll place that Kenmore cooktop. Looks like it's 30 inches wide, and I will place it right here on top of the counter. It has these red lines around the edges. That's part of the family. I'll line it up right to the edge of the countertop here. And normally when you got these red lines here, they come with the family. Sometimes they're nice enough to give us a little checkbox to turn those off. This is I guess, clear space they want around this thing. I'm not sure, they don't really call it out here. Edit type, do they have any information that I can turn off that red box? I don't see anything. So if you really want to get rid of this red box here, you take that family, edit the family, and you find that drawing inside the family under the plan view, which is the floor plan view here. And there it is right there, that box, right? That thing right there, I think that's what I want. Hit delete. Let me see if it gets rid of it. Load into the project, overwrite, and there it's gone. So basically, go to the family, just get rid of it. And I'm going to line up these cabinets. I'm going to get AL for a line and line up these cabinets underneath the countertop. So again, if you go back to 3D, you'll see very quickly what you've done. There we are. Are these 18? These are 18. Okay, these are 18. These are 33. There's the cooktop sitting right on top of the counter. I lined it up right to the edge. I don't know if that's exactly where it belongs, but I'm going to put it there for now. And this is what you have. And you can see here, there's a gap between the back of the cabinet and the wall right there. And that's why they showed a double wall, a fake wall basically back behind the cabinet to fill up that space. So you don't have this opening back there. You can also close that off. Revit has a family. Let me see. I'll show you. Insert load family. It's called a filler. This filler has a kick plate at the bottom, so it's not going to help us. It's going to have this little recess kick at the bottom to make it line up with the bottom of these. So that is not what I want. I want it to come all the way down to the ground. And these all have these little kick at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is make one. I'll make my own. And I'll make it part of this previous family. This is the countertop family I made. This is the model in place. I'll just go here and go edit in place. And I will just draw a rectangle and basically fill up this gap here. And I'll make it, I don't know, 1.5 inches. And I'll make it go from 0 to the bottom of the countertop, 10 foot, 2 foot 10.5. So that is filling up that gap. And when you go back to 3D, you'll see I just made that right there. This little piece right there, just to close it off. So nothing gets back there. I could have built the entire wall, but it's kind of, I don't need to see it, so I'm not going to bother. But this is the beginning. If I take a look at this elevation, right, here is the floor plan. I'm going to hide some of these symbols here. Just going to hide these here. These I don't want to see. So then ultimately we'll make an elevation of this entire wall, showing some of these products here. So far so good. I'll call out some of these things here. This thing right here, this guy right here is number 13. And number 13, if I take a look at the set of drawings, the equipment schedule is here. Equipment schedule right there. on A702. And number 13 is cook and hold oven right there. And I believe I have one. Insert. Load my own personal family. Cook and hold. This right here, cook and hold. Grab one of these, open it, and then when you go back to here component, you can place it. It's right there. And again, it seems to have some kind of lines around it to give it some clearance. So you can't build anything next to these lines here. I'm going to basically line it up with the edge of this, line it up to the edge of that. Looks like this thing is deeper than what they're calling out. Or maybe I have the wrong family, but it looks like it's going through the wall. So it's a little deeper than the countertop, because the countertop is only, I mean, normally what would happen is this should be here. Like that red line is, nothing should be touching this red line. So it's going to sit out in front of the countertop, given the clearance that they're showing here. Again, I don't know if I have the right family, but this is guidance. This is basically saying you shouldn't have anything inside of this space here around that red line. And then later you can decide to turn off the red line, but you don't want to see it. Delete it. There, it's useful for the time being. But that's all we're doing. We're just coming in and adding this information here. Obviously, you can center that in between here if you want to take advantage of the space you have. I don't know what they did. I'm not sure what they're calling out here, but if you look here, they don't give us this space here. So basically, I would just center it, just make it equal. Because I've got some extra space right here. Right, if I do a little distance here, I've got almost 4 inches, so I can move this to the right 2 inches, and plenty of space. So there. This oven seems to have some more 3D lines here. You see this guy here? And again, I typically like these things to have a box that hides their visibility. Here, see show recommended clearance here? Checkbox. Luckily, I can click on that box and turn off that box. If they don't, I would erase it because I don't want to see it. So you have to, every family is different. Whoever make their own decisions. Looks like this is too big. I went a little too far here, so I'm going to pull this back. And I'm going to line it up to the back of this with this. So there you have it. If I take a look at that and plan, this is what I got so far. And pretty straightforward. So why don't you all start making some of those cabinets and wall panels? Let me know if you have any trouble. And I'll continue along the path of applying the rest of these products in here and try to figure out any special cases that we need to discuss. The what? Yeah. Yeah, this cabinet right there. Yep. Well, you can turn off lights. Well, you're doing the floor, right? And we should, and the only thing we're doing is this piece here. That's all there. That's all there. Good.
Okay, so this I don't know this one's I have to do something. So I just did this one.
Oh, you've already done some of the stuff we learned about. Okay, we can just replace those products with some of the products that I have. Yeah, so you're start making some of those. Yeah. So you're a little further ahead.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Some of those are not the right products, like, that's different.
Right,
Yeah.
so should I?
So just replace the ones what I gave you, but it looks like, you've got some of the right plumbing. That's right,
This is the, right,
I don't know.
I don't know the cabinet, I have to, I think, change something.
Yeah, that's the right,
I change the,
something I can change.
I made the wall for this one.
Yeah, you can do that, or you could either make a thin wall, put it on top of the dripboard wall.
Like a drawing.
No, an actual 3D model in place.
Oh, I did that.
Or you can do a split phase.
No, I didn't paint, I just made the wall.
Or like a wall on top of the wall.
Right,
Yeah.
it is, the thickness is like.
Yes. Yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah,
Just.
you can do one or the other. Yeah. Your ceiling seems to be going through this ceiling. There should be a line here, so this ceiling going through that ceiling, they should stop. I think you're going too far. Let me just. Otherwise, that line, never line right there. So, something's going through, something's going through. All right.
So what should I do?
The ceiling needs to stop at the wall. That's all.
So I should bring it down a little bit.
No, this ceiling needs to stop at this wall. It's not going
It
through.
goes through up there.
Yeah, so it's like you've got, just replace some of the process with the one that I gave you.
It's like that.
Yeah. Going too far, something's happening. All right.
I'll just double check.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So when I just render this company,
Yeah.
Put
I think it's stainless shows up black in it. All right. Yeah, you need to modify it, please, click on it now. Quartz countertop, is it quartz countertop?
I thought like that.
I think it's metal. Let's see. I think it's like stainless steel. Let's see here. Here they're saying this back wall, this countertop here is metal number 1. If I look at this section, it's probably gonna be the same 8 on A802. Yeah, that's a metal. So that is let's see where they say on A702. See right here they say metal number 1 is brushed stainless steel.
I can find this. Just search it up.
It's in Revit.
No, just I wanted to see the material to know which one should I search. But I couldn't find it on Google. To see the material. Is it like metal? Is it like, because when I just put metal, I can find aluminum, find real metal.
This countertop here is under materials here. Is stainless steel. Stainless steel is any one of these. Oh, they're all stainless steel. Right there, stainless steel. These are all stainless steel. You can pick any one of these. And use that for the countertop and the vertical panels. And then also make sure that your countertop sitting on top of the cabinets. Looks like your cabinets going through the, because of the, you can move them up or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that'll fix that. That's a quick problem. And then if you find the same product I found, you can keep your products the some of them are different, but that's definitely different.
So should they change
Practically the
this
same.
product or this one product?
No, this product is very product, not stove. Yeah. So you have all those families now. Yeah, one here, one there, one there, one here. And I think that's it.
So,
Yeah, one more, you can just copy that one, put it over there. And then get the horizontal ones in place.
the one above the fridge,
The one above the fridge would be. No, I mean the countertop, this guy,
it's
in fact, like that countertop right there.
okay, yeah. Does it matter what material the like walls and countertops are right now?
Yeah, they call them out on the drawings. It's metal.
Oh, I see. Okay.
In your week 1 folder. There's a support folder. There's a photos folder. And this is the kitchen right here. So here we're talking about, so stainless steel. Here's stainless steel countertop, right there. Stainless steel on the side. I'm not sure what's going on up here though. I don't think that's finished yet. They also have another photograph from further back. Actually, that is further back. Let's see. Yeah, here. Here's the countertop of the island. So it has this. I mean, I have this material that I'll give to you later. So this is how it's built, and it steps up right there.
I'm building that as well.
Yeah, you're gonna build this island. This is the island. Here it is from further back. So you can see here what the cabinets look like. Looks like that thing's much bigger than I expected. This thing is massive. Right there. They don't show it that big. That hood, they don't show all that. But they must have changed that while they were building this thing. So here in the week 1 folder, there's a photos folder, and this is an example of what the completed kitchen looks like with the island here, the countertop. That's all stainless steel. The back is stainless steel. This hood, it got much bigger, so we don't have to draw all this. I keep it as small as possible for now. But you can see that stainless steel wall right there. And there's another one right there next to the refrigerator. So this is what we're doing here currently. So if I go back, again, some of these parts I've collected for you, so I can place the refrigerator in here now and go back into architecture, bomb in place. And actually need to load it first. Insert, load family. Let's load that refrigerator, which I believe be here, let's see, cooktop. Side-by-side refrigerator. And here I'll place it. Again, this is a symbol, comes with this big word here. Again, first thing you do is find out the family can have like a checkbox, turn off this label, either here or somewhere inside edit type. Here's label, I can turn that off. This is obviously much smaller. Let me see if this is one or more. This is a double unit, so I think I need to make it wider. And this is basically, let's do a distance here. Turn on my here to here. The refrigerator should be, take measure 5 foot, 5'5". So this should be, let's see if they give us a size. The width is 5'5". Okay, so I'll put that in here and I'll light it up here. And it looks like the depth is deeper, so let me go here and figure this out. This is 2 foot, let's call it 2'2". So here, depth is 2'2". I'm going to include this little orange area here. This is 2'3". This is 2'3". And I will line it up with these orange lines here. I'll see that's the refrigerator. So there's the fridge currently sitting in. I don't think that's the right fridge. I'm sure it's not, because this looks like it's 2 different sized doors. Again, I grabbed this from a Revit Autodesk Revit family. You might be able to find a better family out there with 2 even sized doors. This doesn't seem to be the right size. But maybe you can find this refrigerator from the list here. Here they're telling us the refrigerator is, one's a freezer and one's a refrigerator, and these are the model numbers here. So maybe you can track those down online and complement your project. You don't have to use my family. So that's what we built so far. So the rest of this is can be pretty straightforward just by using the products that we have provided. So this is the, I believe it's the fryer. So here I'll just go in here and I'll load the fryer. And I'll go into here and place it. I'll just make some alignments here and line it up with the location I've got set aside here. So that's what we've got so far. And the rest of these are just case goods. So again, we could take a look at the drawings and tell what products go in here. So here we've got a 1'2" drawer right here at the bottom. On top of it, we've got a stacked oven, and then there's a cabinet above here. So, and then here they're saying it's 2'6". So 30" drawer back right there. And I'm assuming Revit has one of those families. So let's check. Go here, load Autodesk family. And it's probably one of these guys. Although it doesn't have the kick, that little kick at the bottom there. This one? It doesn't, because it doesn't have a little kicker at the bottom. But it could be helpful to, we can make it custom. Well, you can add the drawer and then come back and add the kick afterwards, if you like. Let's see if we can make it look like. Let me see what happens if I try to make it look like what's available in Revit here. So let me try to grab this, see if it works.
No.
You couldn't put it on the floor? Oh, okay. Well, let's see how it works. Component. This is the drawer. They're saying this thing is 30 inches. I don't have a 30-inch one. I'm going to duplicate it. Make it 30 inches. And then here I will, the width here is 30 inches wide. Is that even right? I mean, I'm not sure. Oh, it goes underneath the range here. It goes here. So it goes here. Although it looks bigger, I'm not sure what they're saying is 30 inches because this looks bigger than 30 inches here. If I look at this range, let's see, if I do a little measurement of this range here, that's just under 2'5", 2'6". Let me just use what I have here then. Just put this in place and see what happens. So there's the drawer. And what do they let us do here? Height here, if I make it 0, it sits below the ground. Here, if I make it, well, the first thing is, they don't give me the way of making it taller. This is the depth. This is the width, but where's the height? The height here is basically moving it. Because if I make this, yeah, this is like 14 inches or something. So can we move this vertically is the problem. Let's see. If I cut a section through this, it's right there. Probably not, because I don't have the ability to adjust. This is going to change. That's 14 inches now, I believe. And this is not exactly, it's not going to adjust it. All right, let's make our own. Okay, so let's put our oven right here. Place components. Actually, I need to insert load family. Let's grab this oven first. Let's see. Here's a double oven here. And I'm going to put it in here first. I'm going to place it in here. And I'll make it 30 inches. Hopefully they'll let me do it. So they're making it wider. Oh, I don't think I can change the width of this oven. This is the family I've given you. The width, the weight. Thought these were a family. That doesn't look right. All right, let's find it here. Insert load family. Oven. Let's see what they have. Here's a double oven here. Is that the one I gave you? Let's see. This is double oven I got from Revit from the Autodesk. I'm not sure what this other one is here. It doesn't seem to work very well. So let me delete this one. Let's grab this one. Let's make this one bigger. See if I can have the ability to make this wider. Here is the width. The width is 36 inches. Oh, actually 30 inches, 2.6. Okay, that one works. This, I'll line this up with the counter. Here. Just have to move it. And I'll put this up against this wall. How wide is this? This is here to here. It is 2'8". That thing is 2'6". This should be 2 inches shorter. Okay, there's my oven. And it's a little bit bigger than these drawings, but this is exactly 30 inches. It's right here, for example. I'm gonna make a cabinet below here, and I'll give you an idea how to draw that. So this is a custom situation where I want to draw this little drawer right here and have the setback here at the kick plate here at the bottom, that little gap right there. And so if I wanted to make that flush with the oven and put it in the right position, I probably want to have a cabinet next door to it, make sure it lines up with it. So I'm going to grab this and put it right next door here. Let's assume these are the same size. So here, I've already got one here. I can grab this cabinet and put a copy over here. And I'm going to line it up right with that oven there. So this should be lining up with the countertop here. And this should line up with the edge of this oven here, and then move it back to there. I'm not sure why I can't seem to align up with that edge there for some reason. There. Okay. This is what I got. Cabinet next door. This will have the built-in microwave above it. And this here is a custom cabinet here. So what I'll do then, to draw that is I will cut a section through here. And I'll also draw a line here, a reference line here, reference plane. And I'll put this plane right at the edge of that cabinet. Right here. And I'll call that a name right here. It says click the name. I'll click on it and I'll call it face of cabinet. You have to give this reference plane a name. So you draw a reference plane and you give it a name. And when I look at this from the side view, the cabinet is going to be, let's see here, this is the range. I want to move the range out to the face of the cabinet. There, okay. So this little gap right here is where the cabinet door goes, and this is the kick here, and this is the cabinet beyond. That's the cabinet beyond the range. here is in front of you. So I'm looking at it from the side. So I need to draw something right here that covers this hole, goes horizontally and goes down to here from the side view. Does that make sense? So what I can do is, from the side view here, I can go into model in place and I can draw another casework. And here is I can basically use set a work plane. Because right now, if I start drawing it from the side, you won't have any idea from what location am I drawing this from. I want to draw it from the location of where that plane is I drew, that face cabinet plane. Imagine that's a piece of glass. I'm going to draw a drawing on that piece of glass at that location and have it come toward me to fill the entire area here. So I'm going to do a set plane. And here, under where it says name, I can choose the face cabinet plane. That's a piece of glass that's in front of me. So I'm basically drawing on top of it right now from the side view. So right now I can say draw from the reference plane that had a name called face cabinet. And I can start drawing now or extrusion sideways, because number extrusion I'm drawing from the bottom up. I'm drawing it from the side instead. So from the side, I can come in here and basically sketch out. I go around here, go along here, draw a line from here to here, for example, draw it back. And I can offset these, let's say 3/4 inch. And I can trim these. And don't forget to draw a line across the bottom and across the top. I drew that. And here it says draw it from the start, which is at the reference plane, which is 0, and it's 2'10½". It's going to be 30 inches deep. So if I accept that and I look at it in 3D, you see here it is going in the wrong direction. So when I click on it here, and I go back to my reference, not this, sorry, let me close that. Go back to my cross section here. This needs to be negative, not positive, but negative 2'6". If I did that and accepted it, and look at 3D, it's right there. Drawing it sideways, I trace this cabinet shape, and I made it 2'10", and it sits along that edge of the cabinet, which is where I put the reference plane. So now that is exactly what I want. And then this guy here, if I go to edit type, this tells me it does not have any material assigned to it yet. The cabinet material is called cabinets. I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to grab this, go edit type. And under here, I'm going to make it the same material called cabinets. And let me see if it puts it in the right place. No, it did not. Let's see here. Actually, what you do is you click on it, go edit in place first. Then when you touch it, there's the material there. Paste it there. Hit apply. There. Accept it. Accept it. And now you got that cabinet. That could become another cabinet there. So sometimes you have to build things custom in Revit to make them work. Any what? For the drawers? That's a drawing you do when you cut a section through it. That's a separate detail. You don't have to draw it here. These don't have hangers. Drawers. No, these don't have any. That's a 2D detail. You can draw that later. We'll get to that. Now this has wall cabinets above it. These. So here in the plan view, I need a 30-inch wall cabinet. So here I'll simply load it, insert, load Autodesk family. Don't search for ovens. Casework, wall cabinets, and then I'll find one with 2 doors, which is maybe this guy. Oh, this one here is just a plain, simple cabinet. Load it. And here I will simply place a component. There's a cabinet here. And it wants to touch a wall. Click. And then here I will make it 30 inches. Here I'll align it with the wall here. And here I need to adjust this location. Okay, so here's a cabinet, and here it's going to put it back there. And that's not what I want. That's in the wrong spot. So I can investigate how to move it forward. Because here it's up here. Wall cabinets wants to get stuck to the wall. But sometimes you don't want that. You don't want it stuck to the wall. Because I can't move it off the wall. At least, I mean, this cabinet, it doesn't have a ability to change it. Let's see. There's nothing here telling me that there's a distance from the wall measurement here. 2 foot, 2 foot. Yeah, this is not going to change anything. So this is going to have a problem where it doesn't move off the wall. So in this case, let me see, I could let me think about this. Which way should I do this? I can make another wall, move it forward. Actually, this thing is going to be pretty deep. Let's see here. This is 1 on A804. That's a pretty deep cabinet. So it's not your typical, that's a 25-inch cabinet. So first we look at the drawings here and it says that's a really deep cabinet. It's 25 inches deep here. Right there. So here I grab that cabinet. And there's the depth right here. Let's see the width, the depth here. This should be 25 inches. That makes it thicker. But it's set back. If you look at the cross section here, it's stuck to this wall here and it's set back. There's a gap right there. And this is why they built this fake wall. See this big wall right here? They built that wall there, so this cabinet gets attached to that wall. That wall right there. So this is probably a place where I need to make that wall in order to stick this cabinet on the wall. So here, behind here is a thick wall. And let's also take a look at what's happening next to it. See this right here is section number 1. This is section number 3. This cabinet right here. This cabinet is probably sitting on top of a wall as well. So if I look at 3 on A804, this is number 3. You see that wall right there? That's a wall in front of the existing wall we have here. So I'm going to have to make that wall there. So let's do that now. I need a 5-inch wall for this cabinet. So here, right here, I believe that is the 5-inch wall we're talking about right here. That's 5.5. It's 5 inches. And we need to make a 5-inch wall back here. And so here, I'll just make a generic wall. I'll just come into here and grab a 5-inch wall. Here's a 4-inch wall. I'll duplicate it and make it a 5-inch wall. And here I'll change the thickness to 5 inches. And it just sits back here behind the cabinets. So here is the wall. And here's what I built. This wall here. That wall there is sitting off this wall by 5 inches. On top of that wall, you put your cabinet. Because the back of the cabinet wants to hang on a wall, a surface. So I need to make the surface first, which is this thing here. Then I can come into here and put my wall cabinet on top of that. So I touch that wall there and click on it, and then make this a 30-inch wall cabinet. And line it up. And you'll see here, the cabinet sticks out from that wall. And now it's not the right height, it needs to be taller. So that's another section I can take a look at. I can see how much tall it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be from its bottom here. Let's see, this is the cabinet here. So it goes from here up to the top of the ceiling, which is here, 48 inches. I'm not even sure if they give us that number here. They don't. But here you simply come into this and change it. The height here is. Let me just double check that. The height here is 3'6". So this should be 3'6" tall. 3'6". And there it is. Okay, so there's my wall. This wall should be 8 feet tall. Wall right now, 8 feet tall. Okay, so here's what we got. Here's my wall of my kitchen. Here's a new 5-inch wall I put on top of that wall there. And off of that wall is the cabinet hanging from that wall there. So this is what you need to make. A new wall here that's 5 inches, and then on top of that wall, put the cabinet and make sure it's the right height. So that by the time you're done, it'll look like this. There's a tall cabinet, there's the oven, there's the custom base we made. And everything aligns up here. Next to this would be the microwave, which seems to be right above the countertop here. Well, right above this cabinet here. So let me check and make sure that product is correct. Change his line weights back. Don't need the reference plane any longer. And we're going to put what is that? A microwave. Place on components, load family. Microwave. Do I have a microwave? Let's see. What do they call this? They call this number 7. And number 7 on our schedule is here. Built-in microwave. I don't think I gave you a family for microwave. If we're looking week 10. I don't see a microwave in here, maybe because it's in Revit already, so let's check. Insert, load all this family. Microwave. Here's a microwave. Load it. And I'll place it in the project right here. And it's going to be how wide? It doesn't sell, this cabinet here is 33 inches, so I'll make it the same. So here, the width is 33 inches. I'll make it up against that cabinet. Go to the face of this. And I will drop this down on top of that base cabinet there. So I'll move this section here. And there's a microwave. I have it sitting right on top of the base cabinet. And then on top of that, there'll be another wall cabinet, which is this one up here. This is 3 3 3/4. This is 3 foot 8 3/4. This is what I have so far. This is the Autodesk microwave. It's sitting right on top of this cabinet here. And I put this cabinet, the wall cabinet right above it, next to that one. And I made it taller so it fits in the right spot. I think there's a mistake here or an issue here. But normally when you have cabinets like this, there needs to be a panel here on the end. Because right now there's a gap right there between the microwave and the wall. And I can see into the top of this cabinet from above back there. So it doesn't seem right. I think there's supposed to be a panel right here, a vertical panel hiding all that information. So I'm going to go ahead and make one, even though the drawings don't call for it. But again, I wasn't part of this project. I don't know exactly what they did eventually. But I'm going to edit my model in place. I'm going to grab this one and copy it and stick it at the end of that wall cabinet there. So it closes off the edge. So now you see here, this panel here is going to close off this edge here. I didn't put in the right spot there, but this cabinet, this panel goes. Can't quite tell where this cabinet's at. Let's see. Where is this cabinet? There, it's right there. I just close it off. I made this panel on both sides of this entire group here. That panel there, and I'll put another one there to close it off. So it looks clean. So you might do stuff like that in your project. All right, so let's make an elevation tag, just so that we can have a drawing of this that we can place onto a sheet. And we need to customize the elevation tag. I don't think we made one in the past. But the ones that Revit has don't look great. So we're going to customize it a little bit. So I'm not going to finish these cabinets because the rest of this you can do by putting the equipment on top of the countertop and finishing all the rest of the cabinets here. But if I want to make an elevation of this wall, I go into view and I make an elevation right here. And I take this object and I point to the wall. So I have to be close to it. So it points to it. And I click. Escape. If I click on the arrowhead, you'll see it goes from the edge of the room to the edge of the room. What it thinks is the edge of the room, it might not be right. But this is an extra elevation tag. If I look at my list of elevations here, you'll see I've got a new elevation here under building elevations. This is not a building elevation. This is an interior elevation. So what we need to do first is you need to click on the symbol. And here in the properties, change it to interior elevation. So there, it looks like this. But this doesn't look right. Because right now it has the name of the view here, because the view is called elevation number 1. Now you see I have a new category called elevations, interior elevation. There's a name, but it put the name right here. All we want is a number. We want a number here and the sheet number there. We don't want this word here. So we need to customize this some more. So to customize this, you click on the arrowhead. Then you go edit type. These are the properties for that arrowhead. You take the one called elevation tag, this circle thing, and you open the family right here. Then of all the choices, you want to choose the one called filled arrow. And hit apply and apply. And now the name's gone. Now, if I take a look at this elevation here, it looks like this. This is the elevation. We can adjust it though. Go back to the plan and click on the arrowhead again. And you see here, it goes outside of the room. Kind of, it goes beyond the edge of the room here. And here, it didn't reach the wall. So what you can do is grab the little dot here and pull it to the wall. And in this one here, you can grab the dot and pull it to this wall here. And if you can't quite get it, what you can do is change it in elevation. When you double click on the arrowhead, you can grab this box and make it go to the wall, right there. Just zoom in, right there. This box is that line. So this is what you want to elevate. And you basically, what you want to do is make it look like this. This drawing. Needs to go up to the ceiling at 10 feet. So that's 10 feet. So we know that's right. This is the wall that we're elevating. We'll get all the equipment in here. Again, you'll have your refrigerator there, your cabinets down here. And then there'll be a couple other things, little details you have to fix. So for example, this drawing and elevation is a quarter inch scale. So here in Revit, you change this to a quarter. Okay, so this is a quarter now. And also, you might want to change the design of these lines here. See these lines here are dashed? So basically, these lines point to where the hinge of the doors are. So the door hinge, when you open the door, the hinge is being pointed at these arrows. The hinge is right here. And the hinge is right here, along this edge. It points to the hinge. The hinge of this door is here at the bottom. So the door flips back toward me from the bottom hinge right here. Some of these have lines, some don't. These don't. So you might want to fix this as well. This is what we have to do inside the family. This family has a drawing that tells me to draw the rectangle right there. But I'm saying that line style is solid, it should be dashed. So if I want to fix a family, I click on the family, go edit family, and look at it from the front elevation, which is front here. And here it shows the lines right there. I mean, this is actually correct the way they're showing it here, but it's not correct on the other drawing. I'm going to change this to it's called elevation swing projection. I'm going to change that to hidden line projection and see if it looks any better. And load it back into my project and see if that line looks better. Overwrite it. Yeah, it's starting to show dashed. So go back into this family. When you click on the line, these are all your options. And some might look better than the others. This is elevations. This here is, when they say projection, that means an elevation. So I'm going to try this one here as a better style without making any new ones. Hidden line projection. Then when you load it, it should fix them. This one is a problem. It doesn't have any lines. So when I open this family and I look at it in the front, there's no lines here. So you go to model line and use the same style hidden line projection and draw it right here on top of the front elevation. Front view, front elevation. Draw the line there and load it and see if it works. Yes. So now you got the lines. So go into the family, edit the family, go over here to create a model line, and the style we're going to use here in the subcategory is styles of lines, hidden line projection, and then draw the line. When you load the family back in your project, it'll pick up the design and it'll look like that. So now it'll look appropriate. Same problem here. This doesn't have the same style. So I'll click on this object here, go edit. Look at the front view. This is the side. Let's see, the front would be this one here. Click on this line here. It's currently called something swing. I'm going to try hidden line projection instead. And hopefully I get to the style I'm after. Load it, accept it, overwrite it, there. So there are some tweaks you have to do. There's a wall over here that's not gypboard, or I mean this back wall actually, in fact, is this back wall here is metal number 1. So it's stainless. It's basically stainless steel. And so here, what we can do is let's take a look. This is the room here. I'm going to hide the ceiling for a second. Just turn it off. So you got a room right here, and this back wall is meant to be stainless steel. Right now, this wall, I call it interior 7/8 of an inch. Now look at this. It's basically 2 layers of drywall and metal studs. You don't want to change this to stainless steel because every wall called interior 4 7/8 of an inch is going to change to stainless steel. We don't want to do that because a lot of places in the design don't need stainless steel except for this one room here. Let me bring this down. So what I will do then is I can paint these walls a different material. I can go into modify, paint command, and paint it with the material I'm after. So go to manage and go look at your materials and see if you have stainless steel. Stainless. There's no stainless steel. Well, I mean, there are all kinds of materials using stainless steel in other places. Like here's appliances using stainless steel. Okay, I'm going to use that one. Or I'd make my own. I'll duplicate this and make my own one. Duplicate materials and make my own stainless steel. So let's see, I grab that one there. That's fine. I have a material here called stainless. Here. I want to go ahead and duplicate it and call it John's bevel number 1. That's my custom material number 1. So when I look for JM materials, I can find it quickly. Here's JM epoxy, flooring. Did I make it? Did I? You know, I might have erased it. Let's go back to stainless. Stainless. This one. Oh, here. Right click, rename it. JM MTL number -1. So that's my new name. And I'll leave everything the same. In case I have to change it later, I can change this by itself without affecting the other ones. That's my new custom name. And so if I have that material, I can go into here, into this model, and I can paint the walls right there with different materials. So if I look for MTL number 1, here's my material there, I can just paint this wall, and it's now stainless. I don't want to paint these walls because I got to paint the front, the back, the side. I don't want to do it this way. This is when I want to paint an entire surface by itself. This entire surface I know is going to be stainless, so I'm good with that. When you want to change your models, like this model here, for example, this model here, under model edit in place, you click on it by itself and you put the material there. So here, I can put metal number 1, and it'll put on all sides. See? So then I can just simply go into here, grab this one, put it here. I'm gonna copy that. Put it here. This panel is gonna get it as well. I'm using Control Paste, Control V. I want to put it here. This countertop here. This guy here. They're all gonna get it. And suddenly they all become stainless steel, which is this light gray material. So now everything's stainless. This is tile. This is called T number 2. Okay, do I have T number 2 material? Like a floor. Manage, materials, T-1. I don't have a T-1. Well, here's T-1. It's actually a floor. This is T-2. Do I have a T-2? T-2. No, I don't have T-2. All right, so I can make another material. And T-2 is what? Okay, here we are. Here's materials. T-2 is this product here. It's this color style here. It's some kind of stone tile. So here I can just I'm look for tile. Let's see what they have. Here's porcelain tile as an example. Take any tile, right click, duplicate it, make it your own, John's T-2. And here, give it a style. It's gonna be purple. It's gonna be 4x4. Or maybe you want it some other size. Whatever you want, 8x8, fine. Choose a style. Choose a color. Don't worry about appearance, we'll do that later. We only care about what it looks like in 2D. So it's gonna be 8-inch tiles. It's gonna be called T2. So fine. And here in the elevation view, I can tell that wall there to be tile. So you have two options here. You either make a new wall and put it on top of this wall, make it 1/2 inch thick or whatever thick you want it, and give it a tile, or I can split face this and carve out an area right here and paint it tile. Both ways is fine. If I want to do it quickly, I'd probably go to here to modify and do a split face. This guy here. Click on this wall. Where is it? Kind of hard to grab. Trying to use that wall there. And then here I can split it out with this rectangle and just put it right here. Just draw a rectangle. Hit OK. That area has been split out. You can see it here. If I grab that wall and I isolate it. You see, I just made this little area here. That's a split face. I can now paint that. Modify, paint. T-2. There's my T-2. Put it right there. These are my cabinets. I'm going to turn these off. I'm not going to save them. Turn these off. There's my elevation. Use the align command. I can line up the tiles nicely. And now it looks like my drawing. Of that wall right there. This wall right here. Looks like there's a panel going across the top. Actually, I'm sorry, that's a light fixture. Never mind, that's a light fixture up there. So let's ignore that. That wall is all tiled just right here behind that coffee maker. But now you have that wall there. So go back and set this. So now I've got a little wall of tile. But that's all we're doing here. Okay. So let's take a break before we start doing the island. Island is a little different. So let me know if you have any other questions. I would just make them the same, just assume it's the same. Yeah, like this guy here, it says CE, have the equipment.
Yeah.
Just make it the same as that one. They look about the same.
Okay.
And that one looks a little bit wider.
Yeah.
Just use your best judgment.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll be exact.
Okay.
Got still safe? I guess. Got still safe.
We're okay.
Good.
This will be the problem.
Oh, yeah. What are they calling them? What are they calling them? Schools, stations.
No, I mean, yes, I mean, they just want to do this.
Yeah, I heard that they're going to it's like they're all the schools.
I don't know why they're.
Yeah, there was nothing there. They're just running out things that yeah.
But I think it's right.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
Let's see. What they go to do.
Yeah, it was hopefully it's over so. Yeah. So you got just wall cabinets, yeah.
Yeah, I just.
Where does this sit? This Should this be on the face of the,
Right.
did you put a wall back there? Or did- That the 5 inch wall? Oh, okay. No, I'm talking about the wall that you put together. No, they're gonna be in one place, if I agree. Yeah, see, these are lined up the face of these. So there's a 5 inch wall behind here. And it makes up the cabin go forward. So that'll take this forward, bring these forward, because right now there's a gap. Gap right there. You want all this to come forward by building a wall, put these cabinets on top of that wall. Then everything can move and everything along. Yeah.
I was fix the.
Yeah. What's that? Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So in my assignment, just I think. Like, the wall was the same.
Yeah.
So we need to fix this.
Uh,
I put the lighting.
yeah, good. Yeah, and then I think. I put the wall right there. The height of this.
So just like
So you got this off the internet?
this one, yeah, I got it from this the doors.
Yeah.
Because the door was here. It wasn't. Equal.
Oh, was it?
So I just fixed it from.
You fixed it family?
Right.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So I can fix it.
I like that family better. Can you copy this to the L drive?
Sure, I'm going to, because can I do it here?
Yeah. Copy it to the folder.
Just, where would we just put it? Okay.
No, you have to open it first. Double click on the family. Then go file save as. File. No. Save as. Family. Then go into here. Go to the L drive. Go CAD224. CAD224 spring. For spring. Week10. Or. Family. Save it. Yes, just save it, yeah. Unable to write for her to read only by someone else. Unable to write. Oh, do I have it open? Hang on a second. Try it again. Okay. What's the name? Should be all right. It's the one to give that one. It just the record. Wait. You know what? But if I can you save it to your?
Yeah, I can see it on this, so let me just.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, save it to your desktop. Yeah. And email it to me, then I'll replace it and give it to everybody back. Thanks.
Um, mm, You should have to do
No, I think it's stay.
it. So,
Yeah, I can stay.
okay.
But yeah, you got the idea.
Yeah, I'm trying to see.
Now, I wound up building it from the right to the left. And then there was extra space left over for this guy. Yeah, but you can also center it or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, no big deal. Okay, thanks. Okay, for the final part of the assignment, I want to walk through this kitchen island concept. So here in the level 1 view, I'm just going to turn on the CAD file so we can see exactly where it's positioned. So here's the countertop. This top here is lower than this piece here. This is up higher. There'll be chairs up across this backside here, and so there'll be a series of cabinets on the flip side. So to draw this, what I'll recommend you do is draw it from the side, because the side view will let you draw what the elevation looks like of this wall that's stepping down. So when you draw elevation from the side, it's best to use a reference plane, because then I can draw on a reference plane, which acts like a piece of glass. I can sketch out the side cabinet, or the side wall rather, and then I can use it to create the look I'm after. So this is the side view here, what we're looking at. And to take a look at this in more detail, you simply would look at the cross section here. So here, section number 1 on A803 will give you what it looks like cutting through it. Right here. So what you want to do is draw this from the side. There's 2 pieces here. One is the countertop, which is, they're calling it 1 inch and a half for the thickness of the countertop here. And then the rest of this is a wall that follows the contour of the countertop, and it has a little setback here. For the kick, only when there's a cabinet there. So that's the drawing we should reference when we're building this object. And again, it's showing up here, the smaller version. Right there. So to do this most simply, I would probably just sketch this out from the side view. I'd first need a reference plane to describe the side of this. So I would go into here and draw a reference plane along here. And I would give that reference plane a name so I can communicate with it. But right now, when you click on a reference plane, it doesn't have a name here until you click on it. So click on here and say side, I'll call it side cabinet, for example. And now I'll look at it from the side, either in section or elevation, doesn't matter which. So for example, here, I'll temporarily just cut a section through here, looking at it from the side. So this is where it's going to be located. Now, because I can't see it, I'll also draw some reference planes across the length of this, so I can tell exactly how wide it's supposed to be. So for example, these lines here tell me how wide it is, and this one here tells me where it steps down. So those are 3 reference lines right there. And the side view will show me those reference planes here. And this is where I would draw it. So this little area here is this little area here is taller. That is 3'6", and this over here is 3 feet tall. So what I want to do is sketch it out here. So knowing that, I can come into here and draw a model in place. I'll call it case good again. And here, when I do extrusion, I want to tell it the name of the surface I'm drawing on. Because right now, Revit doesn't know. It wants you to pick a plane, but there's no wall to select. But I do have this imaginary piece of glass that I gave it a name, under name, and it's called the side cabinet reference plane. So I can draw on top of that surface right here, right now with the extrude command. So with the line tool, I can basically just draft out of this shape here. And I can begin to click on these options here and determine how tall they're supposed to be. Now this is going to be, let's see, I'll draw the wall first. So if I grab this and pull it down to the ground here, this is going to be 3'6" tall. And actually this one's first, this one here, this is 3 feet tall. And this is 3'6". But that's to the top of the counter. That's not to the top of the wall. See, this goes to the very top of the countertop. The wall is actually 1.5 inches below that. So I have to draw that as well. I have to subtract 1.5 inches that's going to trace this entire edge here. So I got to subtract that from this drawing here. So honestly, what you would do is you probably just sketch it out and say, all right, 1.5 inches below here, and below here. That's where the wall should be, because this is going to be the countertop. So I want to draw that. This is the wall I want to draw. And this I can erase. That's the wall. And it's going to be 2'6" thick. 0 is the surface of the plane I'm drawing on, and it's how thick it will become. And I'll make that 5 inches. If I accept it, you'll see here what happens here. I drew that. That's a 5-inch thick wall that steps up for the bar height here. And here you can see it sitting right there. So if I know I have that one, I can duplicate it to the other side and basically move it over to here. Just flip it over, put it over there. Honestly, I think, and they don't show it this way, but I mean, if this is curving, then that wall can't be here. I mean, this wall needs to be over here somewhere outside of that curve, because I can see the top of that wall if I cut out the countertop. But they don't show it that way in elevation. They don't show anything happening where the walls are set back from the edge of the counter. So I don't think, like here, it looks to me like the edge of the wall is exactly the edge of the counter. It's not set back. So I want to draw the counter square. It doesn't have that curve. Otherwise, this can't be here. It had to be back further to miss the curve. So I'll just draw it like that. Well, you draw from the top. You draw like this from the top and give an extrusion of 1.5 inches tall from the top looking down, up.
We have to do this separate. Fix it here.
Well, I'm talking about the walls right now, but the countertop comes later. Yeah. But yeah, if you wanted to, you can draw that curve. You just have to move the wall back so it avoids the curves. But yeah, you can if you want to. So I just drew that wall, add the side view. This is the section. And then I can actually use this view to draw the countertop as well. I can go back into this model and build another model on top of it. That's the countertop. So they're all together. So I go back, edit in place, and here I go to create a brand new extrusion. I can tell it to talk to that plane again. And here I can just simply choose the top of this and then make it 1.5 inches away from whatever I touch. And this is the thickness of the countertop. If I was drawing the curve, I wouldn't do it this way. I would draw from above looking down. But here, I would draw this, probably get this, and then I would connect the dots here and accept it. And then here, I got it. It's going to be bigger than 5 inches. I don't know how big it is, but here in 3D, you can fix it. Because I can click on it. And I believe one of these grips is there's a countertop right there. So I can just pull on it. I can even align it. Align to here, AL is align to here with this. Now they're lined up nicely. You can see why I can't draw the curve right here. So you draw from above instead. But there's the countertop right there. Then you can tell this to be one material, the top to be a different material, and so on and so forth. This has a sink here, an opening for a sink. And if I take a look at an elevation, I would probably want to draw another elevation tag. I'll draw a view elevation tag looking down. So I'll put it here. I'll click on this and point down with the little checkbox. So now this is turned on. This one's turned off. Turn that off. And then make this an interior elevation tag. So click on this and change it here to interior elevation tag. And don't forget to, well, the style is going to be the same style with the little number here, nothing else. So this is going to look at that wall. So there's the countertop right in front of me. It's reaching the back wall. See that back door back there and the back wall right here. If I don't want to go that far, I click on this little box here. You see how far it goes? I can just make it go to the face of that countertop here and no further. So when I look at the elevation, I just get this. They can't look any further. This is the reference plane I used to draw the edge of that wall. I no longer need it. I can erase it. And here, what I would probably do, just to make this easier on me, to make it a quicker drafting exercise, this is the cabinets here. I would just simply draw reference planes at these locations. Oh, actually, these walls are 4 inches, not 5. So this, edit this, click here, edit in place, grab this. This is not 5, but 4. And then hit accept that one. This one over here, edit this one, is 4 inches, not 5. It gets a little thinner. So here, I'd probably just grab some reference planes and have them tell me where the cabinet is supposed to be. This is 1'11", duplicate 1'11". That's that cabinet there. Then I got 1'11" again. So grab this one, duplicate it again, 1'11", fine. Then they've got something about C-spec. I don't know how big that dishwasher is, but I know these, 33. So I'll just simply grab that, duplicate it over here. 33 2/18. So this one's copied over 18 inches. And another 18 inches. Then I've got a 42-inch one. Duplicate this. 42 inches. And then whatever's left over is the piece that's missing. This is 1'11". That's what this is. This is 1'11". If this is true, using all these measurements, then you get 1'11" left over here. So this is where the cabinets will line up. I've given you a family for the countertop, the faucet there. So if I go into insert and I load a family from the folder I gave you, there should be a sink, this guy. And if I put this here under model in place, or actually place a component, what's it doing? Architecture component, place a component. I'll just line it up. This is a little bit bigger. What is this? 1 3/8. So I'll move it over, equal 1 3/8. And 3/8. Okay, there's the sink. And you see the sink cuts a hole out of itself, puts it in there, and then the faucet goes above, and the faucet is another family, comes separate, so that gets inserted as an independent family. Faucets here. And then you place it again. Place component, faucets there, and then you just put it here. Put it wherever you like and then flip it over. This needs to flip over, rotate 180 degrees, and then position wherever you like. So that seems to be all right. And the rest is adding cabinets. So that happens in plan, but you can see how wide these are in plan. You can see how wide the cabinets are supposed to be. You can always do a little measurement here and figure out what you need. I probably already have a 33-inch cabinet. Do a search for cabinet. And see, here's a 33-inch cabinet right there. And you can see that they're the right size. See the measurements line up. And you can start copying these over and change their size. So this is like, what is that? Oh, this is trash, those trash things. So this is going to be the 18-inch cabinet we used before. And all the families should look exactly the same. You shouldn't have to edit the families at all. There they are, right there. If I look in plan, they should start showing up here. And these are backwards. The arrows are facing the front of the cabinets. See the arrows here? Arrows here? That will be the front. So these are rotated 180 degrees. 180, then here the same. That's how you know when they're facing the right direction. 180 degrees. And then I can just put them back against that wall, against this countertop. Against this, I can use reference planes now and just line them up. Okay, there they are. And here I can even do an elevation. I can just here, I can do that. I can grab this one, duplicate it, put it over here, which is why I use the reference planes. I can see it's not wide enough. This is probably 3'6". Yep. Then I just make this 42 inches. And then use the align command to reference planes. The reference plane is helpful because then now you can see where they're going to go. Then when you're done, erase them all. So it makes things go faster. See, you've got this happening. But make sure you match the styles. This has 3 doors. This has 1 door. And the hinge is over here on the left. This is I think this is a dishwasher, which I've given you. And so make sure all these get placed where appropriate. And then the flip side, you have to look at the detail. Because the back side is going to be wrong. So make sure you look back at the detail. So here's the detail here. So on the back side, there is a wall right here. Right here. And actually, it looks like the edge of the wall that we just drew originally is 4 inches from the edge here. See, it's 4 inches? That's where the wall starts. I drew the wall to here, it's wrong. It should be back to here, 4 inches back. 4 inches back. And then this wall here is, well, it's one, they don't give us this number between here and here. Here they kind of give it to here, 1'8.5". I just assume that's a 5-inch wall. Make a 5-inch wall right here. It could be a generic 5-inch wall, but it goes underneath the countertop. So to make those changes, you can do that from the side view here again. This is the side view of the wall here. I can go edit type, grab this countertop and just move this back, or go edit extrusion and move this line back. 4 inches and accept it. And that'll basically get set back like this. And then copy it to the other side so they're both the same. So I can delete this one and fix it. Copy this over to there. And then build a wall. Otherwise, you're going to see the back of the cabinets. See? So here, you can simply just draw a wall. I've already got one that's 5 inches. I'll draw it generically here. I will edit this. I will grab this and flip it over. I'll make sure I move it to the right position. This goes here. I'll make sure this wall I'm building reaches that end wall there. And then when I cut a section through it, it needs to be in the right location. So this section will show me the wall's right here. It should go to the bottom of the countertop. Right to there. And it should be up against this little bend. Right there. So this is the gap right here. Behind the cabinet, there's a gap. There's a gap right there. Just fine. Unless they're saying make the cabinets deeper than normal, which I don't think they are. You see that thick wall right there? They built 2 walls here to fill the gap. So we don't have to build that. We're not going to see it. So here's what you have. The wall, the countertop, the cabinet, sink, then the other wall back in the distance. There's my wall right there. And you see there's a gap between it. There's a gap between the wall and the back of the cabinets. So, and that's fine. And this is, I mean, once the cabinets are done, this is done. We're doing dimensions this week, so I mentioned it here in the assignment. These little cabinets, there's a couple of TV sets that goes on against the wall in the room. I'll give you a TV set. Add bases to the walls. You can add a base by using split face and painting the little base, different material, or split face and paint. Or you can build a 3D model of the base. Like we would use the sweep command. Just draw a little tiny base and sweep it along the bottom of the wall, and it'll trace the bottom of the wall and give you a little base. These rooms have bases. We are customizing the interior elevation tag. That's all. I made it black without the name. I've already done that. Tag on the interior elevations of training room 108 and put them onto the sheet 101. No, I mean 101 is where the tags are located. Make sure that has all the tags. And then here, create these sheets 101 and 601 and 603, and place the elevations on those sheets along with the notes. The notes are on the drawings. Just copy them. So here's one of my elevations. Here, once you place this on the sheet, if I made a new sheet here as an example, and I grab one of these elevations and place them on the sheet, then all of a sudden on the plan, they'll get the information called out. You see, this now has a number. Drawing number 1 on this sheet number. This would be A601 or A603, one or the other. Just copy the numbers that they're using. Well, actually, you don't have to copy the numbers exactly. Just put them onto the sheet. You might have different numbers. We're not making all that. We're not going to make all these elevations here. We're not going to make all these. So of the kitchen, put the kitchen details on here. They might have different numbers. It might not be 3, it might be 1. So put the ones that belong to the kitchen onto the sheet. Ignore the other ones. We're not doing all these. We're just making a couple. And then put these measurements on here. We measured the drawings yet? We measured floor plans yet? You guys drawn dimensions yet?
Pardon?
Have you drawn dimensions on your drawings yet? On the floor plans? Added dimensions? Measurements? Not sure if you've done that yet. But if you haven't, the assignment is you're gonna add dimensions to the floor plan, add dimensions to the ceiling plans. Don't do more than what they show on the drawings. So here, for example, here's some measurements here. Yeah, so here, for example, I don't need the horizontal dimensions, but let's say, for example, you go annotate and you dimensions right here. The shortcut is DI. It's called aligned. DI, you see right there, it's the DI. And you go from place to place, here to here, and you put them on the screen somewhere. And you might want to customize these to look the way that I have these formatted. So when you click on any dimension, here's the style they've given you. You duplicate the style they gave you and make your own. So I duplicated it, gave it a new name. And the only thing that customized are these. I made it 75% of the normal size. So it's shrunk it, made it narrower. I used Centric Gothic as the font. I made sure this says transparent for the background, text background, transparent. Under unit format, click on this button here, make sure this says suppress 0 feet. Make sure this button here is turned off. It's feet in fractional inches, and round it up to the nearest quarter inch. Those are all the changes I made. Nothing else gets changed. Text size is 330 seconds. Don't worry about any other setting here. This one, this one, this one, this one, and this button here is the only thing that changes. Then you'll have this style. And if you do more than one, if you continue this string, it'll keep going until you click on the background somewhere. If you want to erase one of these, you hover, tab, click, and delete, it'll delete it. If you want to change the location of the text, you click here, you grab a little dot there, and you move it over, left to right. You only do that when you don't have room, if it's too crowded. For example, you measure something, it's too small, you move it outside of the wall here by doing that. And then sometimes if you want to add additional text like this, you double click on the text by itself, and you can put words above, below, to the left, or to the right of the measurement. So I just put this word below, and it puts it here. That's all part of the same dimension. There are very few measurements on this project. There's a few measurements here and there, but there's not a ton. And on the ceiling plan, well, you see in the set. The set has the measurements. There's more in the ceiling than there are on the floor. So, for example, here, these measurements here show you where the lights are located. Sometimes they want to show you equal, right there. So that is when you go here and you measure something. Make sure I turn this on. If I want equal, I would do a measurement from here to the center. It finds the center automatically to here. And if I want that to say equal, I would click on this. And you see right there it says equal right there. Little text is equal. If I click on that text, it shows equal. If they're not equal, it'll move the light and make it equal. So copy the measurement on this drawing. This is where most of the measurements are located here. So these are all the measurements. Put them where they're located. Measure what they're showing here. And that'll be the next part of the assignment here for measurements for the ceilings and the floors, and then create these sheets. You probably already have a lot of these sheets, so. Customizing, where we done that? Yeah. Oh, And by the way, this one room, the training room 108, does need a split face. This is room 108 over here. Over here. And so if I look at this elevation, if I look at, sorry, this elevation here. If I look at this elevation here, this wall, and I turn this into an interelevation tag, this wall does get a special detail. It doesn't have to look exactly like this, but you should try to attempt it. If you can, that wall looks like this. I believe it's, where is it? It would be this one here. See that right there? That's a split face. Right there. I will probably draw those as triangles and then make the curves. Let me see if that works. Let me see if that works here. So this is the wall we're talking about here. So I would, let me see if I do this. I would do this maybe using split face. I will try that first. So split face this wall. That's the ceiling. That wall, split face this wall here. Here, I'll grab it. I will grab some reference planes here. It goes from here to here. So this, and this, I will isolate. Okay. That's where the wall goes from here to here. And maybe draw some reference planes. And then I would draw reference planes showing me where those curves are. And then I'll probably measure between these and make all these equal. Okay. Now they're all equal. Then I could, because that's just a sketch. So now I know they're all equal now. So now I can do a split face of this wall. Why is it I can't grab that wall? I'm not sure why I can't grab that wall. Let's see, where is this? This is showing me that wall. Yeah, that should be there. That is this wall. This is the, what is this? This is showing me the elevation. This is not showing me the wall. Let's see. Let me undo this. This is that's a ceiling. Oh, I can't, that wall is really, really tall. I think that wall is really, really tall. That's why I can't select it. I can't grab the edge of that wall because it's really tall. This wall is 13'6" tall. So this is the elevation view, and I can't see the top of the wall. So this is the crop box. This is not the wall. This is the crop box. So I could make this really, really tall. There's the wall right there. That's the problem. So now I can, this is the problem I was having. I couldn't grab that wall there to do the work I wanted to do. So if I grab that wall now and do a split face, it now lets me grab that wall. Let me turn off this. Where is this little, there's a setting here I want to turn off because I don't want to see this crazy grid. Cancel that. Split face, this. On the architecture tab, you see this show command right here? It's showing the grid. I can turn that off. Okay. So split face, let's see. If I'm on split face, I don't know what the best thing to do here. I could draw some lines here. Okay, I drew these lines here, and let me see if it accepts the split face. It does. It lets me split this out. So I drew it down to the ground of that wall. So that much is working. So if I go back at the boundary of the split face, I can then use this command here. I believe it's this one, fillet arc. I can grab this and make it curvy. This and this, make it curvy. This and this, make it curvy. I can steal this number, 2'4", and give it to this one. And it'll be the same curve. I can use this again and make this curvy and steal. Like this is 1'8". I can basically make this one the same by doing this, grabbing this curve and make this 1'8". It makes the same exact number. So once I have my design, using these little guide grids here, these little reference planes that are equally spaced, I know how to make the triangles and then make the triangles curvy. Then I can paint the wall. Because now I now have a wall that looks like this. So now I can paint this different than that. We're not doing that today. All we're doing is making sure that there's a curve here. But eventually, this will be P number 1, this will be P number some other number. This will come later. We don't have to worry about that today. Just draw the line. That's kind of a strategy of how I would go about doing that. And that's it for week 10.